Hi, everybody. Chris Wiley here with Tasty Equity. I'm excited to have you join us for our September investor briefing event. Appreciate you joining us today. I'm going to move through this quickly in about 15 minutes. The goal is to share some fun facts with you about what's going on with the offering and with our business. And as one of our advertising team members likes to say, we're a ray of light in a really stormy season. And we got some exciting things going on, and we're feeling very lucky to be in the fast casual market space. So with that, we'll jump right in. Today we're going to cover 4 topics, a couple of hot tidbits about how our restaurant sales have been rising steadily, how we've sold more than $1 million in food since the pandemic hit, and I'm talking about mid-March when the stay-at-home order started. We'll touch on the growth of our public offering, which you guys are all part of. Thank you for being investors, or for those of you who are going through the investor qualification process, you'll be an investor shortly. We'll talk about how we've got investors in 38 states and 4 countries as of today. I'll share some key numbers about our immediate growth plans here in the balance of this year in Q4 and into 2021, and how I believe we are on track based on our activity levels to commit to 10 projects per year starting next year, and most immediately with our 5th restaurant here in the Ohio market. And stay around to the end of the 15 minutes, and we're going to talk about how you can be one of the lucky VIP guests to join us for our October virtual event. We're going to hold that in our Bowling Green restaurant. Much like all these Zoom video events you see, the investors like you guys today will be able to join us remotely, but we would like to have up to 10 lucky guests join us in person to be part of the filming and food tasting and cocktail mixing. We have literally sold $1 million in food across our 4 restaurants since the pandemic hit in mid-March. I still say that, I like to be able to share that our recovery chart, the big chart, that's the sales, our restaurants versus last year, as compared with the little chart in the top right, which is the 3 big averages, NASDAQ, S&P 500, Dow Jones. We have seen the same sort of rebound of consumers. The only thing that's holding us back at this point is in our home market, where we have our 4 restaurants, we still have only 50% of our tables available. So once those become free, we'll be beating last year solidly. Right now, we're kind of neck and neck with last year in each of our restaurants, just slightly behind in the rapid fire pizza locations because they're pizzerias. People tend to come in with a family and a group and want to eat in the restaurant. But thankfully, I will talk in a minute about how Hot Ed is almost 70% carryout and is just rocking it as a brand. To that point, up to 70% of our sales in various stores are now what is called in the industry off-premise. You would know that as drive-through. If the classic TV restaurants you see advertised on TV with drive-throughs are very high percentage off-premise, the more off-premise business you have, that is carryout, curbside pickup, third-party delivery, the more business you generate that is not dependent on your seats inside the restaurant, the more valuable your business is. It's fortuitous that my brother took the brands down the path in 17 to get engaged with Grubhub and Uber Eats and DoorDash, and most recently we got involved with Easy Cater. In 17, those services were 7 or 8 or 10% of sales. In 18, they got up to 15% or more of sales. 19, they got up into almost 20% range. When the pandemic hit, that was everything was carry out, curbside pickup, and third-party delivery really took off. So we appreciate those partnerships. They're doing a lot for the business. This is a chart that I didn't create, that we found this on the internet. This is validation of how the fast casual marketplace, which we are squarely in the middle of, has been growing for 10 straight years at 300% of all other restaurant segments. And this report from TechNavio that was published in QSR magazine foretold that not only is that growth going to continue, it's going to increase. And that's because this was specifically a report in the light of what's happened with COVID, that fast casual was so well suited for the lockdowns of the dining rooms and ultimately the heavy carryout, because people still want fresh, fast, healthy food. They don't want to eat food from the drive-thru all the time in the traditional sense of burgers and chicken and pizza. So we are in the middle of this. You are part of it. Thanks for being with us for the ride. This is also reflected in when we launched our national campaign of our offering that you are all part of. Many of you have invested since the national campaign started. We did that in July, mid-July. Our first 3 months, January through March, were almost totally focused on our local restaurant patrons in Ohio. As we made the pivot to the national campaign with the help of our partner Redtail Media, we have seen this really meteoric rise at almost 25% more activity every week since July. We've seen average investments trend up, which is really exciting. And we're seeing very much what I would consider professional investors who are speculating, making, investments at 1,000, 2,500, 10,000 and beyond as they allocate their investments across many Regulation A offerings. And I think we're in a sweet spot in the fast casual market. People perceive that we have an opportunity to perform like people that are leading it in the public markets, right? You can't franchise a Chipotle, you can franchise a Hothead, but Chipotle is crushing it. Five Guys is killing it in the burger space. Wingstop killing it in the chicken and wing space. We're in that same space. We're having the same meteoric rise as a result of COVID. So thank you. We feel very lucky that we're in this market and we're really crushing it in growth. We have literally about 300 investors of record as of about 2 weeks ago when I prepared these reports. You guys are all in now 38 states, and it was delightful to see Canada, Bali, where my wife is vacation, maybe it's friends, and Bulgaria. It's interesting how these are coming in, but we're getting worldwide circulation. The videos have gotten attention all around the world. We haven't seen a lot of international stock sales yet, but I suspect we will. Now, those 38 states where we're seeing investment overlap nicely with the gold states. The gold states on this map are where we have area developers in 15 states. Now, those area developers are part of the franchise systems. Remember, we're a separate company. We're a store development company. We're here to help fund franchisees that want to build restaurants in those markets. And we partner with the area developers at Rapid Fire Pizza and Hothead Burritos. Those area developers literally have quotas to build at least 3 restaurants per year. And it might surprise you to know that there's about a dozen restaurants still underway to open this year. Those area developers did not stop building restaurants. They just forged ahead. And our goal is to partner with at least 10 of them each year. And that will give us an opportunity to reach our goal to build and start 10 new restaurant projects a year. And what's most important is they are well-capitalized folks, and they will match us 50-50, and they are our local partner to help find those restaurants, site those restaurants, and oversee operations in those restaurants. And that doubles how far our money goes as we raise money in our offering. Our plan is to reach 30 restaurants in 3 years. That's 10 projects a year, as I just mentioned, with the area developers as 50-50 financial and operational partners. Now, the beautiful part about that is history shows, and I'll talk in a minute about our 3 generations in this business, that if we can get 10 restaurants fully operational, and remember we have 4 now, so if we get 6 more in the next 12 months, we'll be at 10 in 2021, they will produce sufficient cash to seed the down payments for the next 10 and the next 10 after that. So if we raise capital for the next year and achieved our goals, technically we wouldn't need to raise any capital after next year because the restaurants will fund the subsequent restaurants. The more restaurants we build, the more restaurants you own a piece of. And our goal, again, is to get to 30 operational restaurants by 2023. You may not know that the tax incentives are astounding in this space. Literally, the government and through the SBA lending programs and the associated tax incentive programs wants us to create these jobs more than ever. They've actually relieved restrictions on carrying forward the loss carry forward provisions. So literally, if we open a restaurant today, the profits from that restaurant for as many as 3 years or even more can be earned and reinvested without paying taxes on them because the government wants us to build more restaurants and create more jobs. So during our 3 years and our being on the warpath to get to 30 restaurants, we should be able to reinvest the vast majority of our profits tax-free. Again, that makes your investment dollar go further. We are a growth value investment. We reinvest all profits and all capital to build more stores. And this is something we've learned about in 3 generations in the restaurant industry. My father was among the first 5 employees at Pizza Hut with Dan and Frank Carney. Ray and I literally moved to 20 different homes as Dad built Pizza Huts all around the country. Pete came along 12 years later and he got in on a bunch of those moves. And then in 1986-89, Dad, Ray, Pete, and I joined together with Dad's Pizza Hut buddies and built out a bunch of restaurants for Skyline Chili in preparation for their IPO. That's a Cincinnati regional chain. So Dad had the experience of living through the IPO at Pizza Hut. He and his franchisee partners exited the business back in 76. We had that opportunity with Skyline. We've seen how it works. You build a bunch of restaurants and you sell them after the IPO. And then Ross became our first sponsored operator, my son. As he came out of the military, he was our poster child. As in 2016, Pete and I put together what became Tasty Equity officially in 2017. And our public offering, of course, just launched in December of 19. Our goal is to, achieve our objectives, get on the 10-store plan a year program, and attract institutional investors to create an opportunity to for our investors to cash in on some or all of their investment within 3 years. Now, here's your part. The more social media matters, and the more you participate, the more you follow us, the more you share with your friends and with your networks, the more people will invest. And it's a self-feeding process. The more Facebook sees people follow us, the more they share it, the more they organically show this to other investors like you. We've noticed that our investors tend to be professional investors, people managing their own money, investing with their thumbs, or maybe maybe they're day traders. But there is a lot of investing activity going on. The more you share what you see on Facebook and what you see on Instagram, or if you want to do some research with us on our YouTube videos, if you can share that information with your networks and your friends, you don't need to annoy your family, by the way. Share it with your professional investor friends, capital markets partners. But send those folks not only to follow us and learn about us, but directly to investinTastyEquity.com. The more people that buy the stock, the faster we can get on plane and achieve our 10 projects per year. So now I mentioned at the beginning of the talk here that we're planning an October event. It'll be the last Thursday of the month in October, and possibly the last Saturday. We're going to get that pinned down in the next week or so. This will be an opportunity for us to have some fun, do some filming, get to know a few of our lucky investor VIP guests. Now, we're very sensitive to the fact that this is a COVID environment. Everybody's in masks. Our tables are restricted. We can't have large gatherings, but we do believe we'll be able to bring in up to 10 people to be part of that event. So we're going to have a little fun. For those of you who'll be watching virtually, Pete will be showing off the self-pour alcohol system, his favorite beers, how we mix up cocktails custom in the restaurant, and maybe we'll do a batch of margaritas together in our Bowling Green rapid-fired restaurant. Of course, all social distancing will be enforced. So if you could join with me, thanks for listening today. I hope you find these fun little facts are interesting. I hope they get you excited about our business and even more excited about what you all are part of. But if you could, I'm going to pop a poll up on the screen. I haven't done one of these for a while, but let's see if I can get it on the screen properly. And here we go. Please respond to the poll. The system will record your answer. If you do say yes, you're interested in joining us, as long as we stick to the social distancing rules, then we will reach out to you. Ned from Investor Management or Investor Relations, a lot of you folks have talked with Ned. Ned will get in touch and help coordinate this activity along with Elena from our team, who's going to be managing the event. I see just about everybody has voted. Thank you very much. And 75% of you said you'd like to come. That's awesome. By the way, I do see that about 17% of the people on this call are not near any stores. So we're seeing a very large number of investments from folks all around the nation that are not where we currently have restaurants. We see that as an opportunity to make investments in the markets where those investments begin to concentrate, again, coordinating with our local area developers. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. I really appreciate your time and everything that you've put into it and the investments you've made with us. And I would remind you again, social media matters. Share this with your friends, share it with your investor buddies, and drive them to investinTastyEquity.com. And let's grow this business together and have a super exciting year. Have a great day. Thank you.